Gratitude. That is my greeting. Gratitude. I'm gonna start off lighting some sage, and I am going to say prayer, although I have already said my prayers before I press record. I'm still going to give thanks and bless this space because it is sacred, and allow only the most high expression of love to come through me, to be all that I am. The presence of the most high creator of all life flow through all that I am. And that together we manifest a universe that is an expression of our oneness, and that purged from my perception is any imperfection, all that is unaligned with the expression of love in its most high form, all of which is uninvited, all misinterpretations of our path alignment, all that is blocking the most high understanding, the most high wisdom, the most high experience from being all that is happening now, I release. And in place, I express infinite gratitude for all that is happening now. As I align through the path of the Tao, I am brought into this space which is sacred, which is holy. I allow all that is taking place now to work for my most high good. First things first, I'm gonna prime using Ruby Kisses Pore Minimizing Face Primer. And today we're gonna do a story time of the lovers. These are the lovers. They are the very first, I want to say, expression of love, which is a husband and wife. And this is the very first expression of love known to man, which is husband and wife. They are a singular soul that is consistently, or continuously I should say, reincarnating as two halves of a whole, one light, one dark, one masculine, one feminine, one God, one devil. I'm going to use some of this foundation. It is Matte Poreless Normal to Oily Foundation 356 Warm Coconut by Maybelline. It's Fit Me. This kind of course of events, right, like the timeline, the setting, the time of which this story that I'm telling about the lovers dates back to eternity. The time is eternity because it's an everlasting story, because like I said, the soul is continuously reincarnating, like it just never ends. But this is the story of the lovers. They are fated to be one on earth. And before they are born, they are each given a name, right? That is divinely kind of gifted to them. And the man, his name is husband. This is a true story, okay? The man, his name is husband. And the woman, her name is wife. And this is how they will be able to identify each other on earth, right? When their soul comes down, reincarnates from the heavens and transitions onto the earthly plane, the only way they will be able to identify each other is, again, through their divinely gifted sort of callings, which is again husband and wife. But the thing is, you know, once they get down to earth, they will be given different names, right? Like everyone is born on earth, and not like everyone, because I know times are changing now, but again, this story dates back to eternity, so you know, the timeline that I'm using here to tell this story is infinite. It dates all the way back to the beginning of life. The tricky thing is that when they got to Earth, they were assigned different names by the race, like the human race, right? Like their parents, their guardians, man, humankind. So humankind gave them different names, right? And I guess if you want to take this all the way back, some people call them Adam and Eve. But again, as you go throughout time, this story dates through eternity. So it's not just Adam and Eve, but every man and every woman. And I know gender is infinite. So here, when I'm talking about man and woman, I am talking about more of a conventional expression of gender. That this story is so fluid. It can be applied to any gender expression. I'm just using the conventional ones for the sake of authenticity to my truth, my story. What I just put all over my face, RK by Kiss, HD concealer and foundation in the color Fawn. And then I'm just gonna blend that in and finish my story. Okay. So, they're called the lovers, right? The man and the woman, the husband and the wife. And so I was saying that when they came to Earth, they were given different names other than husband and other than wife. They go their entire life identifying by these names until eventually one of them realizes, I want to say, that they are only half part of a whole, and that they have a partner here on Earth. So the way that this story goes is that there will always be one half that is, I want to say, fully awake to their destiny to be reunited with the other half of their soul. And then the other, I want to say, like, half that isn't fully like aware kind of has to rely almost on their partner, on their counterpart, to fully accept their calling, right? Whether this is the husband or whether this is the wife, like they have to be almost brave enough to overcome being the person that they were assigned to be at birth, and kind of choose a higher path, you know. I'm gonna take this cool tan. I keep wanting to go over here, but there's no one over there. Right here. It's Cool Tan by LA Girl Pro Conceal. And so I want to say in like art, you know, whether it's modern day or like old times, there's a masculine force and then a feminine force, right? And typically the feminine, you know, she's given a choice of whether she wants to fulfill her role as a wife. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking this and like putting it in all the spaces that I want to be highlighted. I'm going for a super duper glam look. Like I'm just allowing my like most high self to guide me here through this process. Yes, it's like the divine feminine, right? She is given a choice of whether she wants to answer this calling of being wife or whether she wants to remain kind of an individual, because, you know, it's almost like the divine forces, right, of nature cannot force this woman to act for the highest good, right? And in reality, the highest good would be that she chooses to be the wife, right, to her husband that she was assigned to at birth, before birth, honestly. The thing is, the reality where she's an individual is honestly an illusion, right? And so the whole point was that when they came to Earth and they received new names, she would be able to overcome the illusion of the identity that she was given you know, at birth, that like she was assigned to at birth, her like new name. And she was intended to restore, I want to say, like her faith in who she was meant to be, right? Which was the wife. The true nature of her reality is that she is intended to spend her entire life with her husband, and she has to choose them. She has to choose their love, because in reality, like when it comes down to it, the masculine force, like the divine masculine, he isn't given a choice. Like he doesn't have a choice of whether or not he can fall in love with her, but she has a choice of whether or not she wants to experience being one with him. So it's really her decision to make, you know, whether they become lovers on Earth or not. But either way, right, like I said in the beginning of the story, they were born as lovers. Like it's their fate to be together, but she can try to resist this fate and deny the fact that she is wife and he is husband. Because I want to be like super glam, I'm gonna take this LA Girl Pro Conceal in the color Warm Honey now, and I'm gonna basically do the exact same thing. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna take 3D Contour Artist Cream Palette, and this is the light medium, and I'm going to take this color up here in cream contour, because baby, we're getting married, okay? We have to put on the face, okay, of the bride. We have to be she. The problem, okay, that the wife kind of has to go through is that she has to sacrifice, right? That their love is a sacrifice for her, because she has to give up being able to choose a different life, you know. She, like, once she makes the decision to be one with her divine counterpart, like with her divine masculine, that's it, you know. She has to stick with him, because if she doesn't, then it's kind of like the sun and the moon, where if one of them goes away, eventually life on Earth will die out, because they need each other. So I'm taking this color and I'm just putting it in the space where I kind of want to warm myself back up. If the sun doesn't have the moon, eventually he will end up being a destructive force instead of like the giver of life that he is to all of Earth, all of creation today. You know, that he provides vitality, he provides light, he provides warmth, he provides clarity, he provides all that is necessary for growth, right? But too much sun, okay, and you're gonna get burnt out. And so this is why the moon is important, because she gives him a moment to be light. She gives him the opportunity to, you know, be loved for all of his like most high qualities, because she gives the earth, she gives all of creation almost like an opposite experience, you know, so that when she comes, you know, all of creation is able to value, you know, his absence, so much so that like when he is present, you know, he's appreciated for all that he brings. But if she isn't there to give all of creation, to give the earth the opposite experience of him, then they'll end up hating him, and he'll end up hating himself, because he won't have any way to turn himself off, because he is the sun. So it's pretty much the same, where like when the moon made the decision to be a part of Earth, right? Like to bring rest, to bring calm, to bring peace, to bring stillness, you know, she had to make a sacrifice, because it's like she gave up any other lifestyle, okay, other than being, you know, the one force, I want to say, that gives him an opportunity to be the Most High, you know, to be the provider of light, to be the provider of vitality for all of creation, to be the Father, which is the Son. And then I'm gonna blend this, honestly, with this kind of brush that I have. Instead of my blender, I'm gonna use this brush and like fan it out, you know, and just really work it. Work it. Up though, you wanna go up. You wanna go in an upward motion. And this is just to really provide us with a little something to work with when we set our face. And so the sun needs the moon, just like the husband needs the wife. And I'm just taking this access and kind of wiping it like everywhere to just really flush color through me. And now I'm gonna take that warm honey again that I was talking about earlier from LA Girl, and I'm going to conceal again, okay, in those same spots, because, you know, it's fun to layer. In this story, I guess, you know, I would be playing the character of the wife. Okay, I am the wife. It is my destiny to sacrifice my sort of like sense of an individual self in order to save the experience of love for all of creation. The thing is, like, being husband and being wife, you know, one of the things you have to realize is that, like, being separate is not a choice. Once you choose to become one, you know, and I'm not just talking about like through the government, like through like a marriage certificate or a marriage license or whatever. No, I'm talking about like once you choose to become one, and as a wife you choose to like fully perceive this masculine counterpart, right, as your husband, right, like part of your soul. There is no me and him, there's us, there's we, there's ours. There are only pronouns that reflect a collective experience, you know, of a singular self, of a singular soul. And as the wife, you know, it is my responsibility to be a mother, you know, to our love, to our singular soul, you know. When you become a mother, you no longer have your own life, okay? It's all about your baby, and it's the same. So the way that I'm blending this is like very intentional. You see how my face completely changed? Like I don't even look like the same woman anymore. Yes, you know, when I'm doing makeup, I really don't need to look the same because who I am, like naturally, my nature is beautiful and there's no way I can replicate that. So it's not my intention ever to try to enhance what I have or to change anything. No, I want to look like a completely different person because me sitting down and painting my face is art. It becomes a canvas, and at that point I become someone else, you know, that allows me to savor who I am when I don't have any paint on my face, you know, and still appreciate who I am and love myself fully and wholeheartedly when I'm in my most natural state. It's all about the kind of perception that you have when you're doing your makeup, because society would try to tell you that like makeup is intended to make you look prettier or to make your natural face more appealing or attractive. And no, there is no makeup ever that will top or be more attractive, more beautiful than who you are in your most natural state. Do not let society fool you, okay? But anyways, so yeah, the true nature of reality is that their love becomes her only life. Like she has to sacrifice living the dream you know, of being whatever she wants to be in her life. You know, she becomes a mom, you know, before they ever have a baby, before they do anything, you know. And I think that it's most important that, you know, the wife in reality sees their connection that way, because that is how the marriage is gonna stay. That's it, you know. That's how, you know, because I realized that throughout time, throughout space, the story of the lovers has become less and less and less and less valued, you know. That like husband and wife, now somehow this concept of a divorce is like a natural thing. And I'm not saying that like anybody who's ever gotten a divorce is like damned or something. No, I'm just saying like it's unnatural that two souls who are born to be one could ever no longer be one. And so that is why, you know, it's important to understand that like being a husband and being wife are both divinely guided and gifted kind of roles that cannot be gifted to you by man, right? It is an entirely different experience of yourself that you couldn't create if you tried. You couldn't. It's fate, you know. Fate is, in its most high definition, I want to say like an expression of the self that is only intended to manifest a singular conscious experience. And that's why it feels like everything's kind of out of your control, because that's the whole point. Is that you're not in control, and who you are, your identity, is not something that you can change, you know, and that what you are expressing and experiencing is for your highest good. So I'm gonna take that brush that I use to blend out my like cream contour here. I'm kind of just going in a line, you know, to kind of get the line away, and then brushing up just a little bit, you know, to kind of, but I don't want to fully make it disappear. That's why I'm kind of staying in my place. I want to keep it in one place and blend up instead of down. But we do want that crisp contour, baby. The wife in reality is intended to see the love that she shares with her husband as her firstborn child, you know, because it is of that much importance. Love, okay? Like, I study this thing, okay? This is my study. This is my profession. Like, love. Like, in its most high form, it is literally the work, my spiritual work. It is my calling. It is my purpose on earth. Like, what I was called here to do was to study love, was to literally fully and wholeheartedly be able to demonstrate and explain and like cultivate, okay, an expression of love in the most high form, to understand the relationship between the divine feminine and the divine masculine, between the light and the dark, between life and death. Like, this is what I came here to do. It's the only thing that I have. So I'm not in the world, you know, like doing anything else. All of the time that I spend is spent studying love and the way that it acts. Like, everything. Love is my teacher. Love is my God. And so every practice that I do, every prayer that I make, everything that I do is to fully comprehend this love thing. And again, being a student, right, and studying the nature of the light and the dark, the masculine, the feminine, and the way they come together to create a singular expression of love, you know, I see the way love is. I see the way relationships are, you know, today, and it's so misguided. And there's a lack of harmony. There's a lack of balance. You know, love is no longer a value for the lovers. There's this like concept of like being a girlfriend and a boyfriend, and like all of these other things that just don't matter, you know. If it's one thing that I've learned about love, it is that it is the most powerful force of all life, the most powerful force in all of creation. There is no thing higher, greater in any way. So check me out. I'm gonna leave my nose contour like that. And now I'm gonna set. I'm gonna use my luxury banana powder from Revolution, Makeup Revolution. And I'm just gonna put some of that in the top here. And I'm gonna set everywhere that I put concealer. The fact of the matter is, the reason that, you know, the woman is intended, the reason the wife is intended to treat the love between herself and her divine counterpart like her baby is because the force of life giving birth to each of their physical forms while like on the earthly plane is her womb. It is the gateway to the beginning, which is the space, the time where their soul was a singular existence, right? Some people call this the universe, or maybe I should say the universe before the Big Bang, before it became the universe. It was just an infinite, singular presence that had no time, no form, no anything. It's just one singular soul. And I believe that this was the experience of the masculine. I think the feminine, her body became the planet Earth. And this is how they each gained physical forms. Today, people don't value husband and wife as an eternity. They don't see it as a thing, you know. It's like a programmed belief that husband and wife is kind of like something that you do after you've been committed for a certain amount of time, and then you guys somehow just decide that you want to spend your life together. No, that decision is made before you even breathe. The divine feminine is intended to be the embodiment of that, you know, the fact that they were one before they even took a breath, you know, like a mother to her baby. Even before that baby is born, she is literally one. She is the vessel, the gateway that soul is using to transition onto the earthly plane. And so it's up to the wife to be the expression of each, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, you know, and kind of be the vessel for their soul to become one again. And then I'm going to bake. I'm gonna put a little bit more just because we're not afraid, you know, of flashback. We fear no flashback. Fear not the flash. Because we have setting spray. And we have multicolored powders that we are going to use towards the end. So be fearless with your powder. So the thing is, like, when it comes to the wife, her ending is their beginning. Like their beginning of being a singular soul on planet Earth. In reality, like, I already know like who the masculine, divine masculine counterpart that I was assigned to at birth is, you know. I'm going to put this powder here and let it sit, because just in case any fallout comes, we gonna catch that, okay? We gonna catch it. Again, I understand my responsibility as wife, you know, is that your love, your husband becomes your baby, okay? Period. Like when like people use the term baby in like relationships, it somehow just become like a term of like endearment. I think that's like what they call it. But I feel like a wife, right, understands that she's not just speaking to like him in some term of endearment. No, she's speaking to the one soul that they share, that she has to take care of, like her life depends on it. because her life does depend on it, you know, like there is no seeing him as some separate entity or any of that, you know. In reality, like a true wife puts her love in the most high position of authority because it is divine. And so, do you guys want to see my husband? I have pictures of him because I love to do collages because I find that they allow me to kind of decode my subconscious mind, because there'll be a lot of like symbols and things like that that like are ultimately codes, you know, that like unlock hidden truths. That's how our dreams are, you know, when you're interpreting your dreams. Everything that you see in your subconscious mind is a symbol of something else, you know, even though it looks like a zebra. It's not really a zebra, it's something else, and it like relates to some kind of like something in your life that just doesn't have anything to do with zebras, but it looks like a zebra, like that type of thing. Okay, anyways, I'm going off track. My husband, okay, he looks like this. You can kind of see him on the wall there. I have David Bowie and Iman here. I love David Bowie. He's one of my favorite creators of all time. He's just brilliant. He like helped me restore my faith in like love through like studying his art. And you know, I have more pictures of David in my room, but this is just okay. So my husband, he looks like this. I have all these pictures of him. These are just a few. Like, I'm such a lover. He's so cute. Look at him and his guitar. I love the angles of him. He has so many faces, you know. In my reality, he is expressed as husband. This is how I perceive him. It's like a much greater, like a much higher perception that I can't alter, you know. Although there is this like disguise over him. Like there's a disguise put on all of us. Like I said, at birth, we're all given names and stuff like that. I'm going to begin with this Zulu color from my Masquerade Mini palette by Julia's, and I'm gonna go in with Zulu here with like a big fluffy brush and just kind of really have fun. And so in my reality, he is my divine masculine counterpart, this entity you see here. I have no other like way. I'm taking this into my crease. No other like form of almost like experience, I guess, of him than just love. Like him being the lover, you know, in my life. It's a very divinely guided and gifted experience, and it's something that I had to learn, you know. It's like I had to sacrifice this perception of him that is kind of molded by society, like this program, like it's been programmed into my belief system, although I have in a like much greater awareness, always kind of present during every moment, you know. But again, it has been programmed into my belief system that he is like this person named Shawn Mendes. And I mean, you know, to someone somewhere, that's who he is. But to me, he isn't called that in my reality. I don't know who this Shawn guy is, you know. The only person I experience is like the literal other half of my soul. And you know, it started as a struggle because I would experience things that I had no control over, like the amount of love that I have for him. And again, like being the wife, right, being the feminine, like how, and I'm really just blowing that all over my like eye like that. This might end up being kind of like a natural glam, but it's okay because we're just trusting ourselves and trusting our path, trusting our decisions. So anyways, like I was saying in the beginning, like the wife, she has to make a choice, right? And I'm gonna use this card again for like example. So do you see, like, so in the tarot, right, each illustration is intended to express the true nature of a moment in time. And this is the lovers, right? This is their reincarnation. How there are clouds in the middle, you know, that kind of like represents the material plane, and how like they kind of start on two ends of the earth, you know, and there's this kind of illusion that they are two, yet in their most high form they are one, right? This is ultimately what they look like in the divine realm, and then this is how they look like on the earthly realm, although this is the exact same. How they look here and how they look here, still one being. It's the illusion of them having two bodies, of them being separated into a masculine force and a feminine force, into a darkness and a light, into a life and into death, you know, like the illusion of there being two is really what is intended to be overcome. But in this particular imagery, you know, we can see that the masculine is only here kind of one of the symbols of him is the fire. And then over here we have sort of like this tree over here, this apple tree, which I believe is the personification of, like, you know, nature. And then we have the serpent here. But you can see between the masculine and the feminine, like he has no other kind of presence other than his own over here. And then over here there's the serpent. There's the snake here, and I feel like the serpent here represents that choice, right? This like fate that the divine feminine has to choose to be with him, you know, because he has no other choice, you know what I mean? Like this is his fate, this is just what he has going on. And I feel like there are a lot of, you know, like divine feminines who don't understand that when you're experiencing true love, like true love, I'm not just talking about somebody that you met and like you think it's working out, but you're ignoring like all of the karmic kind of signs that are happening. You know, I'm talking about like your one soul mate, like your truest lover, your counterpart in the most high experience of life. Is that truthfully, like when you meet like the one, he will have no choice. His love for you would be like fatal. And I mean, I'm not really biblical, but this is why in the story of Adam and Eve, you know, Eve choosing to be with the serpent sort of damned humankind for eternity, because she had not seen their souls as one. She felt she could live a life greater than the love that they shared, you know. And this is just in general a lot of wives, you know, and I'm not saying that anybody who is married and living their own life, okay, and is perfectly doing their own individual things and have their own realities and, you know, have their own personalities or whatever is happening, I'm not saying that anyone is wrong, because I am not one to judge. That is for the Most High to do. But I am here to speak my truth and tell my story. And so the truth is, I believe that the true nature of a husband and a wife is that the wife, you know, he is her reality, he is her life. She should not be somewhere in the world trying to make it, okay, trying to do something and live in the world, right, that they are experiencing. No, she lives in his world. That's the only space that she belongs. She cannot travel outside of his mind, out of his imagination, out of his awareness, you know, because that is not the true nature of the lovers to be apart ever. They are one moment, and that is the love that they share. It's a moment that lasts for eternity. And being a wife, you know, it's important that she recognizes, you know, the importance of her sacrificing this world, okay? This world to be with her lover, to be with her husband, to be with her counterpart. And so to me, you know, it's been like like I said, I study love, so I do this okay? I have journals and journals and journals and books and books and books and cards and cards and cards and so much, okay? I'm taking black now from my Saharan palette by Juvia's, and I'm taking this chai color and I'm going into my crease. You know, I have learned that when we're talking about love and you are a wife, you don't even belong to this world. The reality where you experience being an individual, right, is an illusion. Yes, the fact of the matter is when you are experiencing true love and you are like you have your husband in your life who is divinely guided to you, it is important to understand that this earth, right, this material realm of existence, you are not of it. Like, this is not yours to roam. You belong with your husband, okay? Like, because that is the most safe space. It's like, I think that wives, let me be specific. I think wives have kind of gained this almost like value for the material realm that is very much so unholy, that they are intended to live some kind of dream and fulfill some kind of like role beyond being a wife to her divine masculine counterpart. It's like he is the dream. What else do you need? Like that same Zulu color, and put it on this fluffy brush here, and then I'm gonna kind of blend this out. And so yes, I think like wives have kind of gained this sort of system of belief that once that like they can live, that like they can have a dream greater than their love, greater than their unity, that like they're supposed to be out in the world doing something other than being with her husband 24/7. I think it's all just blasphemy. Based on my studies and what I've learned, like I said, like I practice this love thing, this marriage thing, you know, and not just, like I said, what this means to humankind, but what it means to the Most High, because this universe is my teacher. And so I study it. I study patterns. I study our nature as lovers and understand why tragedies happen, why the balance and the harmony in the universe is destroyed, why the experience of the lover sometimes can become fatal. And I feel as though, you know, the wife has a responsibility. Like, yes, the masculine has a responsibility, but I believe that the wife, right, the woman, she's intended to see him as her dream. You know, like their love is the world that she lives in. It's a sacrifice of this material, this kind of earthly plane of existence to live in the land of their dreams, where they are one, always and all of the time. You know, if you begin as one soul, when you reincarnate and become one on earth, no, I just believe it is not a part of the divine order that the wife views herself as a separate individual than her husband. Even if he thinks so, even if the world thinks so, I think it is her calling. I think it is her purpose to treat their love like it is the only experience that she can have on planet Earth. Because that is love. Love is not just some like rinky dink like dating or something that you can just like one day have and then one day choose not. No, love is a full sacrifice of your heart, your mind, your soul. You put your entire life into love, and that's the problem with like lovers today, husband and wife. A lot of, like, it takes everything. You have to risk it all as a wife, because that's how much love is worth. Love is so infinite that it requires an infinite sacrifice, like an entire experience of reality where you are your own individual, where you can choose to be someone other than a wife. But the thing is, a lot of women don't like that sacrifice. So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna take Chat again, that black, and I'm going to take a more detailed brush like that, and I'm gonna line what I just did with this shadow that I have. A lot of women desire to be their own creators in this life, but I think when you realize as a feminine that your highest kind of calling, your highest purpose that you can ever serve on earth is to be a wife, to be a mother, to love that is divine, to be the goddess that gives birth, right? That gives physical form to the expression of oneness between yourself and your counterpart. Like, come on, like, I think love, when you are a wife, when you are a woman, is the highest purpose that you can ever achieve, and everything else should be sacrificed, like every other experience, because nothing, okay, should be more important or have more value than the soul that you are sharing with your lover, and that you can leave being a part of this world having a dream to him, because again, this is self-love that we're talking about. We're not talking about love between two external forces. No, one soul, one self, one mind, one heart, one body. And while the husband is being a husband, the wife is taking care of all parts of the self and the soul that they share, which is completely intangible, like the happiness, the healing, the health, the purity, the honesty, like all of those things, like it's a self. It's the way you would treat your individual self, where like you're not just taking care of like your physical experience of reality. No, you have to take care of what's inside, the part of you that is completely intangible. That is the wife responsibility. They're sharing a life, a reality. Like, there's no more me and him. There's no more this or that. There's just us, we, our mind, our thoughts, our breath, our mornings, our nights, our darkness, our light, our strengths, our weakness. It's like taking care of a child. Like I said, love is their love, right? The lovers, between the husband and the wife, their love is her firstborn child. That is why a baby, a newborn baby, an infant, a child, no matter what age really, because I believe we all stay children no matter how old we are. A baby, like an infant, that infant's happiness, not only does that mother have to take care of the physical form of that baby, right, by feeding the baby, by bathing the baby, she also has to nurture, nourish, provide, invest, right, her happiness into that baby, because that baby becomes, okay, her own self, her soul. I'm like, it's the same with the love between the lovers, between the husband and the wife. She has to sacrifice, seeing them as two and see them as one, see their love as her baby, and take care of their love, take care of their soul that they share, because it is hers, it's about this sacrifice of, you know, being divided. And I'm taking this and kind of like connecting it to the bottom because I'm gonna do shadow down there. The wife has to understand that he in reality is giving form to their life on earth, but she is the force of life that is the substance, okay, at which this reality they are sharing is being expressed through, like the substance, the soul, right? The essence of it, the spirit. Love just has so much value, you know. And when you are a wife, like, you have to see it that way. You have to treat it that way. Women are somehow told to like try to be the man too, to try to be masculine. Why? That is not balance. No. As a wife, you have to play a role. You cannot do his job. You can't be the baby. Okay. Like, as a mother, you can't wanna be the child as well. You can't wanna make the bottle then drink it. What is the baby gonna eat? The whole point of being a wife is that your dream is having the most high expression of love, is how you perceive your experience with your counterpart, that he is the dream you can, the only dream worthy of your time, that you guys being one, that there being harmony between you, that at every moment you feel his presence, you are in his presence, that you feel his essence, you know what thoughts he's thinking. You know his emotions, he knows yours. You share one body, you share one soul, you share one mind. You know, to manifest oneness takes an eternity, okay, of effort to be one. And this is why I said, like, as a wife, I believe that, like, it is her responsibility to see their love as, like, her highest potential. Being a wife to her husband, that being connected to him at all times, seeing him at all times is what creates their unity, you know. And that she should not want to be anywhere else but with him. Always, like, I'm talking about, like, they cleave, you know, onto one another, because that is oneness, and not in a way where, like, you know, like I said, she's not providing. She understands that, like, his happiness is her happiness too. That, like, the space and the time that they're sharing together is literally her experience of life, you know? And so she loves him, like I said, like herself. Their experience together should be like a mirror, like a reflection. This shadow along these lines down here, to give us a more like a more dark and like mysterious effect. And then I'm gonna take this and like connect it. If a mother leaves her baby, and even then I don't believe that a mother was ever intended to leave her baby to go try to make money, to go try to do anything. Like, I think that the system has corrupted the nature of love and has programmed into every kind of generation of humankind this very broken concept of love that manifests balance, that manifests this harmony, that manifests like anything less than the most ideal experience of love, you know. And I believe that, like, it is not natural for a mother to ever leave her baby, to ever leave her child until their child is old enough to express that it desires to be elsewhere. But I think when it comes to your husband, free will does not exist, because you are one soul. You make singular decisions, one choice. You share a singular consciousness, okay? One is the sun, one is the moon. One is the light, one is the dark. They need each other always to be able to experience oneness, to be truly awake to their own highest potential, to fully know the self. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this really, do I wanna do that? Yes, actually. I'm gonna take this Jamila color from my Saharan palette by Juvia's, and I'm gonna blend this black out under my eye with this very fluffy brush. When you're single, you have your own experience of reality, so you're the only one that has to experience your darkness. You're the only one that has to experience your light. You're the only one who has to know your light, know your dark. But when you are no longer single, you're no longer an individual, when you share the experience of yourself with your counterpart, when you are husband, when you are wife, every moment that you would normally spend by yourself is spent with your lover. Every moment that you would spend getting to know yourself, pulling yourself together. Every moment where you're happy, every moment where you're sad. The whole point is that as a wife, right, you understand that this is a shared experience of reality, and that the true nature of reality is that to the Most High, you and your husband are a singular force that's manifesting one expression to the universe. As a wife, you are seen as the duplicate of your husband's soul, that you don't even have your own, you have his. You see him that way, you see yourself that way, you see your future that way, you see your past, you see your now. It becomes your truth, and in reality it sets you free, you know, because it will prevent you from disharmony. The thing about love, you know, is that the expression of it has to be purified, cleansed, removed of all imperfections, all imperfect ideas. Katsina color right here, this light brown, and I'm gonna go here and kind of clean this space up a little bit. As a wife, you are set free, you know, at birth by being given already access to your most high potential, simply because you are assigned a husband, you know, and that when you experience him on the earthly plane, it is to relieve you of feeling purposeless, because he replaces the responsibilities that you will have to live a life where you aren't living up to your most high potential. He will always be the expression of that. I'm going to go into this and go in with Iman and put that all over my lid. Your husband will always be your home, your place on earth, you know. That is why it is a part of a wife's destiny to sacrifice any other place to be with beyond him, because he becomes her earth. He becomes the world that she has. She lives in his mind, in his thoughts, in his dreams. Because if I'm being honest, like as a divine feminine, you know, this world is not worthy of experiencing your presence, your essence. The only space where you are really fully, like, divinely, okay, supported to be is with your husband. Because that is where, if you believe in God, then God or your higher self, that is where your higher self is letting you know, like, hey, you being here is for your highest good. And so you sacrifice wanting to experience any other, okay, lifestyle, any other expression of yourself than being his wife, you know, than being a counterpart, you know. And then I'm taking that Chad color and just blending these two together. Again, I'm not really looking for perfection. I'm kind of like just doing what I do. You know, being husband and wife in general is a sacrifice of Being able to have your own highest self is the sacrifice of having your own highest self. You now share a singular highest self. You now share a singular highest good. Your potential is now shared. If you want to experience reality in its most holy form, in its most sacred, in its most like pure, there is no way you can experience that being away from your counterpart. And that when you make the decision to become one, right, as a wife, you understand that even if you have to sacrifice, like I said, having your own dreams, having your own desires, because why fight him, if you understand that he is your dream. His dreams should be your dreams. His goals should be your goals. His consequences are your consequences, So I'm gonna take this wadabe here, and I think I'm going to put it here. There is a collective consciousness. When you are lovers, that collective experience is your one soul that you come together to create. There is no universe beyond your life together. So I think I'm going to take this Athena palette. It's a face painting palette. And I'm going to take a very detailed brush. And what I'm going to do is create a line here. I feel like a lot of beliefs that wives have now are like a form of enslavement, to believe that like they were ever intended to be anywhere beyond with her counterpart. Like I said, even if it's to live her dream or do something, I think it's enslavement, mental enslavement. It is literally like a darkness that is collectively created by every human brain ever, that has been programmed to believe in self-destruction, self-destructive thought patterns, self-destructive things. And you should see it as like darkness, right? Like something that's trying to drain you of your energy, anything that tries to pull you away from being with your husband at every given moment in time. I don't care if he's taking a shower, I don't care if he's asleep, I don't care if he's eating a muffin in the kitchen, I don't care if he's walking a dog, I don't care if he's in the sky, I don't care if he's in at the bottom of the ocean, okay? I don't care if he's doing work, I don't care what's happening, if he's driving, if he's just going here, if he's just going there. There's no moment where you should ever let that darkness, okay, that low vibrational sense of self ever take you away from always fully and wholeheartedly being in your purpose, which is to sustain, okay, the oneness of your soul on this earthly realm. And the only way you do that is by being stuck to his body, okay? Like, I don't care if you gotta get in the shower with him, I don't care if you gotta sit and watch him shower. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's just like the truth, my truth. You should always be able to prove that he is breathing, prove that he's existing by being within his presence at every moment in time, because his breath is your breath. If he's breathing, then you are alive. And that's the only way you can prove it to yourself, right? That type of thought process is harmony with your purpose, alignment with your purpose. It is a complete lifestyle change. Your core values, your beliefs alter. You are a wife. Very interesting what has happened here. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan, but I'm going to go on top of it with the color that I put on my lid, that wadabe color here, and set it in place and see what happens. Your love should become like your haven. The life that you share together should be your haven. It should be the space, right? The love becomes a space. It becomes your home. And it should be the only place on earth where everything is perfect. as a wife, that is your responsibility, because your love is your home. It should be treated that way. That is love, and nothing less can be defined as it. I don't know. Maybe like I'm not doing this for the makeup. Maybe it's just for like, maybe it's just what I'm intended to be guided to do, and I'll just trust that. Okay. The truth is, as a wife, you cannot put the like fate of your love in anyone's hands, even your husband, even him. And when I say the fate, I mean the happiness, the well-being of it. That's your responsibility. You have to make sure that your love, okay, that the love that we share, okay, like wife, this is what you're telling to yourself, okay, the love that we share, I'm not putting it in anybody's hands, even my husband. Like, our love is my home, and you want your home to be the most sacred place on earth. You want it to be your sanity, and you should leave that up to no one, because it will be the only happiness that you have when you are a true wife, when you're experiencing true love. Like, you wouldn't leave your baby with anyone. Don't leave your love up to anyone else to take care of. This eye kind of just went on its own like venture. I'm gonna do this, and that just went, whoa, like I don't know what happened there, man. Do you see that? Oh my Lanta. It just like nothing happened the way I wanted it to. That's okay though. I'll take it. Yeah, I don't know what happened here, but I honestly am okay. Like, I feel like I got to speak my truth, and that's what matters the most. It's okay. Maybe this is how we're intended to look right now. You know, it's like, as a wife, what you're sacrificing is the experience of yourself as a woman, and you kind of redefine the experience of yourself, right? Yourself as the love you share with your husband. That becomes the self you have. That becomes who you are. The same way you would treat your reflection, same way you treat your love, same way you treat your mind, your heart, your own body, your own soul. You love your love that way. That's why it's important to understand the importance of self-love. I kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I'm gonna change this eye. Maybe. Let's just go ahead and blend it out. Maybe this is our fate, you know. Maybe we're supposed to blend it and just be okay with it. You no longer have one body, now you have two. Your husband's body becomes your body, and you want to separate your head from your body. You want to separate your heart from your body, would you? No. And so that's how you see him. It is the completion of you, right? Which is the sacrifice of the I, so that there is we. If I'm being honest, I'm gonna take this Katsina color that's like this light brown here, and I'm gonna use that to kind of really go and clean up these edges. Well, because maybe we're trying to do this like really glittery, smoky vibe here, and like I think it's intentional to not worry about the cleanliness, you know. We're really taking it up into the brow, you know, no boundary. And the thing is like, you have to listen to your own inner guidance, right? Like, and understand that like no matter what the external kind of plane of existence will tell you about your husband. Trust your intuition, trust your senses, trust that your perception is of the Most High, of him always, that it is divinely guided. And you have to set yourself free from perceiving him to be this like person that he was told to be at birth, you know. You share a higher self. And so his path, you know, even though he has to live this life being this person to the world, to you, he is no longer man. He is all that you are. He becomes a part of your soul. This is so funny that like this is where it ended up. Okay, the only thing I'm gonna do again is I'm gonna put that wing back, I guess. You know, it's like your experience of him should not be influenced by the personality he has to the external realm, who he appears to be, because it will always deceive you to believe that your love is imperfect and that you have to go out and be someone too. No, all you have to be is able to accept the perception of a greater mind, of a greater awareness of your love. Now I'm going to wipe away my powder. So to wipe my powder away, I'm gonna take my 3D contour artist and powder. This is the eyes up close. They are a whirlwind. They have a lot of things going on, but I like it. It's pretty, you know. Glam makeup is what you make it. So I'm gonna take this and use this color that's closest to my skin complexion, and I'm gonna kind of like, there's the fallout, but there's really nothing I can do about that right now, and I'm not gonna fight it. I think it's just gonna make it cute, you know. Give me a little shimmer, a little shine down there. And we're gonna put blush and stuff on top, so it's okay, you know. You don't have to fight the way things turn out. Perfection exists, you just have to be willing to sacrifice your desire to experience a perfect world and realize that there is perfection in surrender. Surrendering to the expression of all that you are in a greater mind, right? To your higher self. Who are you? And then don't try to figure it out, okay? Don't try to be in control over it. Just let your higher self be all that you experience as who you are consciously. If you want to experience true love, you have to find beauty, right? I mean, like for me as a woman, right? Like who has been divinely guided to her purpose as a wife, I've reached a point in my life where like to experience love that requires me to risk everything is like my own dream, you know. It's the most supreme, you know, kind of like experience that I can give to myself is love that is so true. It requires me to give up everything, you know. If you aren't willing to lose everything, then where will the meaning come from? Where will the purpose, you know, come from in your life? That's why I'm like stressing the fact that it is a sacrifice, you know, in a way of free will, not in a way that like is intended to be perceived as unjust, I guess, but in a way that is perceived as, you know, like the price of sustaining the purity of your love. It's like if you want this love to be true, you have to invest your truth. Here it is. If you want it to last a lifetime, you have to invest a lifetime. Dare blusher, you know, love, like love deserves, like just love as a force, I think, as a religion, as God, as a way of life, as a universe, love, like the entity, the force that is consistently kind of experienced by all of creation, you know, it deserves, as a wife, I feel like it deserves your entire, like, the most that you can give. I think I'm gonna use some red here and really blush myself up. So I'm gonna start here and then go out and then really like buffer that color in, baby. And then take some here on my nose. I don't know, for me, like I understand love to be something that requires a risk of everything, like, you know, because love, it has to be maintained. It has to be treated like it is your life, you know, like it should not be treated like some kind of condition or something. No, it should be treated like it is the only happiness that you have. That is true love to me. It requires a full body sacrifice. Like, truthfully, what is there to keep? Why be selfish with love? I think selfless love is removing the self. As a wife, right, you become a selfless woman, meaning the self that you have is replaced by the love you share with your partner. That is selflessness. You literally become selfless. That is why your love requires your full and undivided attention and care all the time, because like, if you don't take care of yourself, who will? If you don't take care of your love, who will? It becomes your body, it becomes your heart, it becomes your mind. The place that you live is in your love with your husband, with your counterpart. Now, this Nika K palette, Perfect 23, and I'm gonna use these browns to kind of bronze my cheeks. You know, as a wife, I am divinely guided to give up all that I experience individually, and like all that I experience of myself, you know, my mind, my heart, my soul, my body. Like, as a wife, you decide to share this experience with your partner, to make him a part of your mind, your body, your heart, your soul, and that your love has that amount of importance that it is literally like the experience you are having of yourself. It's so important. Love is a sacrifice. Yes, it is. And everything should be invested into this. Everything. Your love should be how you know yourself. It should be the experience you replace, right, with any other thing that you have previously used to get to know yourself. Your love should become a literal practice of meditation, of prayer, of self-discovery, of self-knowledge, you know. A lot of who you are will be learned through your partner, right? And I'm just really blending with the Access powder, because we want a face, baby. We want a face. You know, the thing is that people think that they can just sacrifice a part of their life and have a successful relationship or have a successful like experience with their counterpart. No. I don't know, like this program system of belief that you can give half of yourself to being in love with somebody and be happy. No. Why would you want to? I believe love has a price that is worth life. It is life. And so that is what should be invested, you know. Why like hold anything back from your lover, from your role as a wife? Why save any of yourself I think I am just the kind of, counterpart, I guess, that I find life and death, and that I desire to like experience wholeheartedly, like watching myself transform through allowing like a full and whole body kind of surrender to kind of being reborn through this experience that I share with my lover. It is a rebirth, it is a death. And I'm gonna use my mermaid tail brush and my face painting palette, and I'm just gonna take a brown and just like make some details just to make my face a little bit more interesting, just to add some like extra color, some extra definition, just like that, just like that. Nothing crazy. For me, it's like, why wouldn't you want to sacrifice your life for love? Is there any experience like of love that doesn't require full and total submission? I think if there is an experience of love where there isn't full and total submission, that is not love. That is delusion. That is scarcity. Like I desire love that is the price of my life. Because why would I want to give myself to anything less? Why would I want to spend my time on anything less than love that is so divine? It requires my faith. I think a lot of women see freedom as like this concept of having the ability to choose the same as men, to have the same experience as men. Somehow that is equality. Somehow that has become what is nature. No. Why would a woman who's truly in love want to even have freedom? I mean, like a lot of people may think it's blasphemy, but like, why would you even want to be anywhere else? If your love is true, where else could there, where? I think it is blasphemy to want to be anywhere else than with your lover. If you believe that your love is true, that's cool. So now I'm gonna set my face with this perfection setting spray in K makeup, and then I'm gonna dab like crazy to really blend that product in place, right? Remember I said don't be afraid, of the setting powder. Your setting spray is the key to perfection. It makes your makeup one full experience. When you blend it together, it gets away all boundaries, everything that put to become one. It creates one singular symphony, and you just blend, baby. Now I'm gonna set my brows. Eventually, I feel like as a wife, you will learn that the rules of society don't apply to your love, because a lot of society's rules are self-destructive, and they are not set to manifest the highest good of those who follow, especially when it comes to love. What your tradition is only discovered through the self. I think I'm going to fill in my brows just a little bit, just a little bit, but I'm not really gonna go crazy. I just want them to be a little bit darker so that we understand that they're there. But I very much so value a natural brow. It's my favorite. I have been taught that by my higher self that the only way this love thing will work is if I'm willing to give everything, and that the experience will only be successful and worth it if I give everything, if I'm willing to lose myself to gain love, to gain an experience of love that is truly, worth my time, that is a reflection of my worth. It's like you have to invest yourself if you want to gain something worth your investment. It's like what you put in is what you're going to get out. If you invest yourself in everything that you have, you sacrifice everything, your time, your dreams, your goals, your desires, that will be what you get out, all those things, but in their most high form. Because in this universe, which you invest comes back to you 10 times more potent, okay? And I desire love that is worth infinity, that is worth divinity. And so I invest my divinity, I invest my faith, I invest my truth, my core values, like, and align them with the expression of all that I am being shared between my husband and I. Bold lip liner by NK and brown, and I'm gonna line like nobody's business. Once you accept your destiny as a wife, creating values for yourself, creating prayers for yourself, creating an expression of yourself that is for you goes out the window. Now your core values are to sustain the blessing of oneness and your love, right? It's like a complete and total reincarnation of yourself, of your happiness, of your faith, of your truth. Like, now your love, you are creating a core value system for your love. Like, your belief system should be to manifest your love, to sustain the truthfulness of it. Your own core belief systems, yeah, now you redefine them to incorporate, right? That the expression of yourself is defined by the love you share with your counterpart. Like I said, your faith. Like, the thing is, society is taught to be unfaithful to their truth. But as a wife, your love becomes your faith, becomes your religion. You have to be the one that creates the core beliefs of this religion, right? And sustains it. That is praying to the love, our love, you know. For me as a wife, it's like our love is my religion. It is my spirituality. It is the force of which I am praying to. Our love. Our love, okay? Are you hearing me? I'm not talking about some supreme being. I redefine that supreme being as the force we create when we become one, our soul. And that is whom I pray to. That is where my core beliefs come from. All of my decisions are in alignment with, you know, the expression of faithfulness to our love, you know, because like I said, becomes my religion, my higher self. I have this MAC lipstick. It is Velvet Teddy, and I'm gonna put that in the center of my lip. It's so perfect. I forgot how beautiful Velvet Teddy was. Hold on, I have to. Whew, okay, I'm back. Infinite gratitude for the creator of this lipstick. Yes. Come on. Talk to me, Velvet. Preach to me, Teddy. Just like that. I'm gonna take Chili by MAC and put it on the outer corner of my lip to create a sort of an ombre effect. I mean, ideally, there's an exfoliation before this. But, you know. Oh my gosh, I've been watching Virgin River on Netflix. It's so good. Like, yes. I haven't been watching anything, like, at all on, like, any streaming platform or television. I literally just watch Bob Ross paint. Like, daily. Like, I literally just put on a playlist of him painting, of all his painting videos, and I just sit and I watch that all day, and I create and I pray and I do my practices and my work, my spiritual work. That is my work. And then I go here again with the velvet just to brighten up the center again. Ooh. Okay, This is my face